Wonder why Superman is trending on Twitter. Ew. Ugh. Oh no.
What in the act?
You know, there comes a time when you look at some things and you really don't have much to say. This is one of those times. Not exactly, sure who this show is for, but I will admit that Superman's looking kinda hot. Pretty sure they knew what they were doing. Ooh, and it's on Adult Swim. I have to admit, the animation styles got me sold. It definitely has that classic Japanese anime aesthetic that's very pleasing to the eye.
There's a big pothole up there! Give me just a few more minutes and we'll be at Grandpa's house.
I love how he saved her, and this daft woman is completely unaware of her surroundings. Like, she just drives off after he saves her. Does she not look through her rearview mirror? Like, dude, you have a baby in the back of the car, and you take your eyes off the road to wave the bottle in front of the baby's face when you know you can't feed the baby. Instead of, I don't know, doing the responsible thing and actually pulling over? Now that Clark has saved her, she's just gonna continue to propagate the stupidity.
Sensational.
Anyway, after realizing that he has powers and he can suddenly fly now, he stops and wonders who he is and what he is. We fast forward to the future where he is now in a dorm or sharing a room with someone, and I swear to goodness, this freaking show is so comical because they make it seem as though Superman just had a growth spurt like overnight, and he's not spent like over a decade learning how to temper his powers, which comes across really silly because they're trying to sell you this whole thing of he's just trying to be normal. But he would have already gotten this down pat before growing to be freaking 6'5".
Arm.
It's today.
You've never had an alarm clock before in your life, bro? Did Superman not go to school where his parents gave him alarm clocks? Will you not have already learned over the past freaking decade how to not smash things by touching them?
While I'm waiting for your fucking response, are you just not gonna say anything, dumbass?
It's today!
Lois Lane also looking a bit over easy there.
Mr. White, okay, shake gently. Do not crush his hand.
Hey, Clark!
Come on, stop. How are we... It's like we already showed him having his powers since he was a little kid. He's no longer a little kid. Unless, of course, like I said, I'm wrong and he grew up overnight, which I don't think is the case. You lived in a house with your actual human parents, so you would have already known how not to break things. Yet, he's acting as though he's just gotten his powers, when he's already had them for like many years now. Which is what makes this so freaking ridiculous. I know they do it for comic relief, but come on, let's be real.
Today just be normal. Today just be...
Why would today not be like every other normal day that you've had to live in for the past freaking decade, bro? Maybe it's his nervousness or something. Maybe that's it. But if that's the case, there would have been a lot more accidents as he was growing up. And had that been the case, we would have had more of a Brightburn situation than whatever this is. Again, we get more of the cringy disbelief that I'm experiencing because they're trying so hard to convince you that he absolutely has no idea how to temper his powers. It'd be the equivalent of a walking nuclear reactor if that were the case, because just him walking would probably send shockwaves throughout the country. This is where he meets Lois, and they obviously like each other, because like, who wouldn't like Clark? Standing at almost 7 freaking feet with a big freaking chest, the cutest face ever.
Ha! I am pumped! It's Kenton Olsen.
Call me crazy, but wasn't the original character a redhead? Nobody gets the theme that's going on here? Okay, just me. Okay. Angry dark elf woman. She has her seatbelt on, right? Was she trying to kill that person? Are people in this freaking show just so oblivious to their surroundings? Like, you're standing in the road, somebody is honking, a truck is heading towards you at full speed, and suddenly you were teleported to the other side of the street, and that just escapes your senses? Okay. Anyway, Lois tries to convince her boss that there are dangerous robot war machines in her city, and her boss is like, dude, shut up. Her only job is to breast milk. Whoops. What? No. Serve milk? No. Okay, hold on. That was weird. Serve what? What am I trying to say? Coffee. Coffee, that's it.
Just a drip.
Don't know how milk got in there.
I don't know either.
Anyway, she sees the two new interns and she is very happy / surprised to see that Clark is one of them. Her boss explicitly tells her you are not to leave the building, do not go on any wild goose chase out in the city, and of course she's not going to listen. Because there are bad guys out here with Stark Industry robots. I know, that's Marvel. She enlists some kids' help from the city, and I swear I would like this show even more if this was in Japanese. I don't know why, but seeing like anime-styled characters speaking English just feels very weird to me. Maybe it's because I majorly watch Japanese anime with subs, you know, to the point where I pretty much know a lot of Japanese phrases. Same thing with Korean dramas. You'd think it embarrassing because I'm supposed to know Japanese, but still. Animation's still pleasing to the eye, but it took a while for my brain to try to course correct that these characters are supposed to be speaking English. But at least they're not over the top like freaking Bakugo when he's speaking English.
And you have me. So even if that dream was real, I'd never let anyone hurt you. Got that?
Excuse me, what the fuck?
Why am I getting Boondocks vibes? I never even watched that show, but I've seen clips of it online, and that's what it's giving right now, and I have no idea why. Maybe it's like the different designs over here. You got this freaking dude over here looking like Yuri on Ice, and freaking Aang from Avatar, and then... wait. Oh, never mind. It looks like they're shooting for a music video or something. Like this is a poster of some indie hipster type group.
I trusted you, and you used me, and Jimmy, just so you could get your story.
You know what? Respect to Clark for standing up to Lois. Because she was being selfish, and I honestly expected him to be like this gigantic simp or something, but thank you for not making Superman that. Like, thank you that he can like someone and not bend over backwards to spread his cheeks so they can lick the insides. So after he tells her off, she's like, "You're stupid, I hate you." And then she drags Jimmy with her. I mean, whatever. And then it turns out that they were right. There are freaking robots being transferred all over the city. And on top of that, they're caught, so the robots go after them. Getting some Pacific Rim vibes from this. So after they chase by the freaking Jaegers, girl from the pharmacy lets Clark know, and eventually Clark has to don a disguise after he shows up there and save the day. It was confusing as hell when I saw Clark getting hurt.
Mill!
Why are you hurt? That was confusing for me. I had to keep watching because as far as I know, Superman doesn't get hurt unless it's with kryptonite, and those things aren't made of kryptonite. Anyway, Lois ends up saving him by disarming them from the freaking trailer crate things, which is super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
And after Lois risks her life to save Clark, and we know that she's not going to be able to make it out alive, he regenerates, and thankfully, he knocks the freaking robot out. And one thing I've got to say, while that was cute and I felt the momentum, they definitely shoot this like a typical anime, kind of did take me out of it with the freaking voice acting. Now, don't get me wrong, voice acting is actually pretty fine for, you know, what it is. I just found it a little bit annoying that whenever he's trying to hit something, or you're expecting there to be like a mega explosion, the effect of a power-up punch, you don't really hear it in his voice. See what I mean? What was that? That was lacking so much oomph, it made me feel like, you know when you have something like a drop, you're listening to a trap music, a trap remix drop, you're waiting for the drop to hit, and then it turns out to be something so freaking weak and annoying that makes you even question whether or not it's actually a drop.
Fuck.
What the fuck is that?
Instead of him giving it his all and sounding Super Saiyan, he sounds like, dude, that did not match the action that was being performed. And granted, he's Superman, so he wouldn't be exerting that much energy, so I guess I understand. But still, for us, the audience watching, that was supposed to be a very pivotal and emotional moment for him, because somebody that he cares about is on the line. Their life is on the line. And that's what we get. My Hero Academia much? And see, here's an example of why Japanese anime, or why anime is better, is superior in my opinion. At least when we're talking about the voice acting. We need some oomph behind those freaking thrusts and bust-ups. That was so freaking freaking week it makes me want to spank him. Oh my god. I know it seems like I'm going overboard with this, but maybe it's just what I'm used to watching. I'm used to watching Japanese animation and used to a caliber of voice acting that just fits with what you're seeing on screen, that when I see something like this, you know, but that's not even an excuse, because you look at animations like Invincible and they do it right.
Spoiler alert here.
Or Invincible if you haven't seen it.
Please.
And notice that character was very weak and has already been beat up when he did that. But the voice acting is actually pretty decent in that. Anyway, the adventure ends with Lewis asking who this person could be, and then he just takes off. But then she remembers that Clark was down there, and Clark also remembers that he was supposed to be down there as well. Look how glorious he looks. Design choice on this is actually A1. I like how he comes stumbling out pretending as though he's freaking hurt. Like, who are you fooling, buddy? I also like how Lewis and Clark immediately realize that they have an attraction to each other, and she at least admits that she's wrong, knowing that she almost got her friends killed. Your dad walks in, right? So the series ends with them being quirky and saying that they're a team, and Jimmy had taken pictures of this supposed Superman. Aliens walk among them, and now it is confirmed. Why does his hairline look like that? Like it has its own erection. That's freaking weird. Mr. White doesn't believe them, or at least he's not willing. What is going on? Never mind. You know, never mind. Whatever. But the good news is that they're not fired, so their adventures begin now. I absolutely love how they portrayed the characters in this. I didn't think I was going to like it, to be honest. I thought it was gonna be kind of like meh, but it actually turned out to be pretty interesting, and that's something to be said for the marketing, because the whole Sailor Moon thing from Twitter really piqued my interest. And I was at least curious enough to know how that would tie into a story about Superman. And at the moment of watching this, I was pleasantly surprised. But then again, this is only freaking episode 1. Will I continue watching it? I don't know. Anyways, what do you guys think about it? Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ulturi. You ask, we answer.